everyone. Welcome to the Idiot Podcast starring this idiot right here. This ovulating idiot. I'm an ovulating idiot right now. Yo, I just don't remember this ovulation period being so extreme. And it's probably, you're all going to say it's because you're getting older. It's because you're getting older past 35. Everything changes, Laura. Don't you know I'm just a 25-year-old girl born in 1986? Leave me alone. I can't stop eating. And I think my testosterone is up because I just find myself going, ugh! Good. Oh, I think it's maybe my testosterone's up, but also I'm not working out. I'm not working out because I fell into a pile of hard suitcases at TJ Maxx on purpose. We talked about this last week. I'm not going to go over it again. I fell into a stack of suitcases at TJ Maxx on purpose. And my hip is still messed up. And no, I haven't been to the doctor. But I'm going to, because all of y'all are yelling at me to go. And I'm gonna. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I haven't been doing yoga. And when I don't do yoga, I have anxiety and a lot of energy because I'm not sweating it out and working out. Basically, I haven't worked out in a few weeks, okay? So I feel on edge. But on top of that, I'm ovulating. I can't stop eating. I'm literally... I can't tell you, I wake up in the morning and normally I like to do intermittent fasting. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I love it. When I was pregnant, I gained like 50 pounds with each kid. And intermittent fasting was the only way that I was able to lose the baby weight. I love it, but forget that during ovulation. And they say like certain times of the month, you shouldn't intermittent fast, like you need food right away. So I'm a big proponent of listening to my body, and my body right in the morning when I wake up is like, eat, food, healthy fat. So I just do it. So like I wake up in the morning and I'm just hungry right away. And then all through the day, I just can't stop eating. I had a meeting at 9 a.m. I was giving my sponsor a cake. She turned 44 years sober today, 44 years sober. So I got to go to this book study meeting and give her a cake. And when I tell you that woman has saved my life time and time again, I just can't even begin. She's such an inspiration to me. And I really lucked out because she's an actual marriage and family therapist for like 30 years. So I got like an actual therapist to be my sponsor. And basically for those of you who aren't a part of any 12-step program, a sponsor is someone that takes you through these 12 steps, and there is someone that you call every single day. You check in with them. You let them know if you're resentful, if you're in fear, if you're frustrated, and they help you find solutions and talk through things and do step work around it. It's amazing. It's like it's like a mentor. I recommend it for everyone, even if you're not an alcoholic. I mean, truly, there's a 12-step program for literally everything. But anyway, so I gave her a cake, and then I had another meeting about my book after that because my third book is out next summer and it's due in like a week. So I have so much work to do. So I've been deep in my book and I'm so scared about that. But anyway, so I had another meeting I had to get to, and dude, I like pulled over like a psycho to this cafe to like shove avocado toast into my mouth, even though I knew I was going to be late to this meeting because I needed more food. That's not normal. I had just eaten, but I was like, I need to pull over and eat more now. I don't care if I'm late. It's very strange. And then last night I like ate this big thing of lentil spinach spicy curry. And then Alfie asked for mac and cheese. And so I heated up some mac and cheese. Well, he had leftover mac and cheese. Did I eat the cold, manky leftover mac and cheese? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I inhaled that. Okay. And then he had some old puffs on the counter. Yeah, ate those too. Everything in my sight goes in my mouth right now. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know why that's happening. Kendra says, I eat while falling asleep. For those of you guys listening or watching, I go live. These episodes are live on my Patreon. So if you want to comment and be a part of the episode, join my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Laura Clary. That's patreon.com/Laura Clary. So my third book is coming out, you guys, next summer. And so I'm turning it in next week. And it's just like, I want to say it's the best book I've ever written, but who knows? It certainly was the hardest one. And I think y'all know why. It really tracks the last 3 years of my life. It's less of a collection of essays and more like a mini memoir of the last 3 years. And it's a page turner. Gotta find the silver lining in the shit show that's been my life. Gotta find that silver lining. And hey, at least I got a third book out of it. And I'm hoping that women around the world won't feel so alone from reading that. And if you don't relate, good. Maybe it's just will be very entertaining for you. And if you do relate, great, you're not alone. Let's see, I had a few topics. Okay, so whatever, dude. Everything's good. I've been diving back into my 12-step program. You guys all have 14 years on the 29th of this month. So I'm so excited about that. And I've been just going to meetings every single day, reaching out to newcomers, meeting new sober people, just really diving in to my program because I think I'm just in fear around my book and around, stuff that I can't really talk about anymore, if you catch my drift. So yeah, that's going on. It's all good. I'm managing it all somehow, some way. The kids are, healthy and safe. We're having a good time. Alfie's obsessed with music now. Poppy's telling stories and creating characters. It's all awesome. Love you guys. So, okay. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys about this. I'm very curious about this. Are you able to separate people from their politics? I want to know. Tell me that. Or do you think beliefs are such a big part of your identity that it's impossible or it feels impossible? Have you ever loved someone so deeply, a friend or family member, whatever, and then found out their political views make you want to vomit profusely? I'm curious. Because I think I've come. I had an issue with that recently, and it was kind of jarring because I think you just assume, right, that your friends or your family are on the same. I hate to say the same side, but because that sounds so divisive, right? Yeah, Kendra says, yes, I can. Our souls are different than politics. Rose says, depends on the topic. Some topics, absolutely not. Kathleen says, I try not to find out about their politics. Yeah, it's certainly in the 12-step program that I'm in, we don't talk about politics. We don't. And somehow everyone gets along. And my mom always taught me, at family parties, that was always the rule. It was we don't talk about politics or religion. That's it, Laura. We don't. I had an aunt who, and this was back when I was a kid, and I remember on Thanksgiving, she was talking about George Bush. And my other aunt was super conservative and was like, how dare you disrespect our president? Dude, when I tell you my one aunt wrote my other aunt out of the will, they never spoke after that. After that Thanksgiving dinner, they never spoke again. Out of the will, you're dead to me, because they had different political beliefs. I personally have one of my best friends kind of came out telling me that she has some political beliefs that differ from mine. And there was this part of me that felt combative at first or confused. And I think it was because I felt like she was maybe trying to push them on me a little bit, and I didn't want to talk about it. You know, it was like, hey, let's agree to disagree. But then part of me felt like, are you part of my tribe? You know, I don't know. It was really interesting. In the end, we're still friends, and we just don't talk about it because we're just agreeing to disagree on, like I said, on certain things. And but I know, like I've seen a lot, like on TikTok, just on the internet, of people disowning their family members or their friends, or saying like, if you support this politician, unfollow me, block me, I don't want to see you, da 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 da. Oh my God, dude. I just posted, because the No Kings protests are going on right now across the country. And it was really cool to drive by one of the protests. Like, it was awesome. But I had posted something about, in fact, I'll tell you exactly what I said, because I don't even think that this is controversial at all. I posted and I asked my audience, I said, if you stand behind ICE, and I'm not talking about deporting violent criminals, I'm talking about an agency that has torn families apart, taken children out of foster care homes, detained people for years without due process, and terrorized communities of immigrants whose only crime was seeking a better life. If you support that, can you please explain why? And dude, the amount of people who were just like so outraged that I genuinely wanted an explanation. I wanted an explanation. Why? Why do you support that? And it was like, ice, ice, baby, you, block, unfollow. You know, and it's like, well, that's not answering my question. You're just like so set in your ways that you're not able to explain to me why you support that. Dude, one of my childhood best friend's husband commented under that, where I said, if you support this, you know, why? Can you explain why you support this? Like children being ripped from their foster care homes, you know? And dude, my friend's husband, who's a immigrant, wrote under the comment section, ice, ice, baby. And the way that I just wanted to be like, I don't know, have some empathy, like you're an immigrant yourself. And look, he married her for a green card. Just shut the up, dude. You know? But again, I don't know. Like, okay, all right. I asked for it by asking the question. It was just kind of shocking. Whatever. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts on that. Caro says it's fear. It's a desperation to belong on either side. Yes, that's right, Lindsay. Yes. Okay, next topic. This one's a little more fun. But I'm so curious about that because a lot of people cut their family off. No contact. No contact. Mother's dead to me because of different political beliefs. I feel like I'm able to separate it a little more. Maybe I just learned that in my 12-step program. But I'm also feel like most of my friends are on the same page with the issues that actually matter to us. You know what I mean? So anyway, open relationships. Anybody in them? Don't you guys get a little tired? I want to know. I've never done it. I don't think I'm cut out for it. I think I'm not because I think I'm better than you, because I'm jealous and psychotic. So no, that would not work for me, I don't think. But I want to know your experience. Have you been in an open relationship? What was it like? What were the perks? What were the setbacks? Dude, I met this woman. I don't know if y'all saw her on my podcast, but she talked about this thing called compersion, which was really interesting to me because I had never heard that word before. And I'm going to tell you the definition right now. I don't want to butcher it. So compersion, it's a new term, and it's like the opposite of jealousy. So you're supposed to feel happy when your partner sleeps with someone else. Let me repeat that. You're supposed to feel happy when your partner bangs someone else. Good for you. Was it fun? That's so cool. Yeah, that's not going to work for me. But it's a thing. It's called compersion. And apparently I would think you would need to have that or practice that in order to have a successful open relationship. Deanna says, emotionally, I think it would be very challenging. Ooh. Dialia says, I would love another woman in my household. Okay, Dialia, but would you care if your husband was banging her? I knew someone, not obviously going to say who, but him and his then wife went to a therapist, ended up dating the therapist. Therapist moved into the house. Now the three of them are in a throuple. And he said it was a nightmare. Obviously. He said it was a nightmare because one week he started liking her more, and then she got jealous, and then the girl and the therapist were bonding, and then he felt left out, and it was just like weird and tension. And I mean, obviously that's a terrible idea. Elizabeth says, I'm open to others doing as they please. Obviously, yeah. Long as everyone is aware and agree. I'm not interested myself because it just exhausts me to consider being that open with another person. Dude, and talk about like how time consuming that is. I feel like being in a relationship with one person is exhausting. Can you imagine being in a relationship with 4? I guess if you're seeing each of them once a week, that's still 4 nights out of the week. Jennifer just says, I'll open up this household for a woman who cooks and cleans. One time when I was in my 20s, I got locked out of my apartment at 9 a.m. So I was living with my best friend, Jack, at the time. He'd gone off to work. And I go to this cafe in the morning and I realize I don't have my keys. So it's early in the morning. He's off at work. He's gone till 5 p.m. I took my bicycle to the cafe and I look at my purse. There's no keys. So I'm locked out all day, right? He's across town at work. I don't have my car. I don't have a car. And I just got to wait for him to get back home. So what do, you ask? I sit at this cafe called Kings Road Cafe in West Hollywood for literally 8 hours. I sit there for 8 hours waiting for Jack to get home from work. And I talk to every poor soul there in that cafe. The woman next to me, how are you? Where are you from? Oh, what are your favorite hobbies? Do you prefer doggy or mission? Everyone I'm talking to. Then I come across this old man who's a philosopher. He's probably 85 years old. He starts telling me about the war and how he moved here from Ireland and all sorts of stuff. Then I see another man across the way. This is probably about 6 coffees and 4 hours later. And I see this guy, late 20-something. And he looks familiar. He looks really familiar. And I'm like, oh my God, do I know him? Is it someone I know? So I walk up to this man who's sitting by himself. And I said, excuse me, sir, you look really familiar. And he looks up, he says, huh? And I said, do you mind if I sit down? And I sit down. I just sit down. I don't even wait for him to say, sure. And I sit down and I go, gosh, where do I know you from? And man, where could it be? You just look so familiar. And he goes, I'm not sure where you know me from, but I'm actually meeting someone here. And I was like, oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. No, I'll go. I'm going to go. What's your favorite position? No, you don't want to tell me? Okay, I'll go. I'm going to go. I'm going to go talk to that dog over there. So I get up and I go. Cut to a week later, okay? I get a phone call from an unknown number. It doesn't say unknown. It's a number, but that I don't know. And in these days, you answered when someone called you. Now I get like 50 sales calls a day. It's insane. So I pick up the phone. I say, hello. And on the other line, I hear, Laura? And I said, yeah, this is Laura. Who's this? And he said, it's Peter. And I said, Peter? I don't know a Peter. And he goes, oh, remember last week you came and you sat down at my table and just started talking at me and you said I looked familiar? And I said, yeah, I do remember. How did you get my number? And he said, I realized where you knew me from, why I looked familiar. I'm friends with your sister's fiance, Greg. I said, oh my God, you're friends with Greg. That makes sense. So I've seen you at those parties. And he said, yeah. He goes, anyway, I'm a director and I'm casting the role of a crazy actress for this new AMC series starring Adam Goldberg and Jeffrey Tambor. And it's on AMC and the role is a crazy actress. And I think you'd be perfect for it. And I was like, oh, amazing. Great. This is amazing. So he sends me the information for this role and I audition for it and I book the role. And it was fucking amazing. I did the whole season of this show. It was called The Trivial Pursuits of Arthur Banks. And it was starring, Jeffrey Tambor and Adam Goldberg. There were a few other actors in there that you'd probably recognize, but I played this crazy actress and I just thought it was so funny. And then, dude, that same director called me maybe a year later and was like, hey, I'm in New York filming a movie starring Jason Bateman. It's called The Longest Week. And I'm casting the role of a dumb model named Bunny. I think you'd be perfect for it. I was like, is this dude like roasting me? He's like, psychotic actress and dumbass model? You'd be perfect. So I was like, absolutely, I'll play a dumb vacant model named Bunny. So I auditioned for that over Zoom like a month or two later. And yeah, I flew to New York for an entire month. And it was an independent film where I played Jason Bateman's girlfriend. That was starring Olivia Wilde and Jason Bateman. And it wasn't a big part, but it was fun. And I got to be in bed with Jason Bateman. So who doesn't love that? I remember just laying in bed with Jason Bateman in my underwear, just like chatting with him. And he was so cool and so fun. But I remember it was an independent film. And so there was no budget. Like I made nothing on that movie, or just a few $100s a day, which isn't nothing, but they weren't paying for my flights. They weren't paying for my hotel. And at the time I was 25 years old, 24 or 25 years old. I was broke as a joke. And I was broke as a joke. And I was like a month sober at the time. And I remember they were like, he was like, the role is yours as long as you can fly yourself out to New York and put yourself up for a month. And I'm like, dude, I barely have money for this sandwich. Like, how do you expect me to do that? He's like, figure it out or I have to hire someone here. And obviously in New York City, there's dumb models crawling everywhere in that town. So I wanted that role. So I called my sister. I begged her for money for a flight. It was funny, at the time I was just dating Steven and I asked him for help too. He helped me with like a hotel, I think. I was just begging friends and family to help me because I couldn't afford to get out there and actually stay for that month. Then I was like, there's no way I can get a hotel for a month. That's insane. So I looked on Facebook to see if any of the friends that I had grown up with happened to be in New York because I would just hit them up. Anyone that I knew, I would hit up. So on Facebook, I see my friend Kelly. Kelly and I had done theater together in high school. She was a really sweet, funny, interesting, eccentric girl that I had done theater with in high school. And it says that she's in New York City. I was like, oh my God, perfect. So I messaged her. I was like, hey girl, I know we haven't talked since algebra, but I booked a movie in New York and they're not paying for me to, for my, what do you call it? For me to stay in New York. So I'm wondering, can I possibly stay with you even if it's just for a few days? And she was like, absolutely, no problem. So, so I fly to New York. I then take a taxi to, I believe it was the Lower East Side where she lived. And then I call her, tell her I'm there. And I go into her apartment and it's this tiny studio, probably smaller than this room right here. It's just you walk in and there's just a bed and then a kitchen right next to it and then a bathroom right next to that. And that's it. Anyone who's lived in New York City, you know. And I probably stayed there for like a few weeks. Then I was like, I got to get out of this studio. And I look back on Facebook and I see this other director who I had done a short film with who happened to be in New York. And I hit him up. And he was in Brooklyn. And I said, hey, do you have an extra room? I'm doing this movie with Jason Bateman, but they're not paying me anything. And I really want to do the movie. So he says, yeah, I got you. He goes, I got a couch in my basement. You can sleep there. And I was like, perfect. So I go there. He's got like 5 roommates on the top floor. And then in the basement, that's like where they play video games and probably drink and party. And there's a dusty ass, dirty ass, ripped ass old couch. And he's like, there's your bed. And I'm like, love it. So I set up in this little grungy basement and I'm kind of freaking out again. I'm feeling like nervous and anxious and I don't know anyone. And I meet one of his roommates whose name was Lauren. I'll never forget. And she, you know, we introduced each other and just small talk. And then she's like, all right, I got to go. I'm going to this meeting. And I said, what meeting? And she goes, oh, I'm in the program. I'm in like Alcoholics Anonymous. And I was like, what? No way. And she said, yeah. And I said, can I come? And she was like, of course. Dude, when I tell you, she had like a few months clean too. We ended up going to meetings every single day that we could, that I wasn't on set, going to meetings all over New York City. It was so much fun. I met like all these sober people all across the city. And it's funny because that's what they call in the rooms of AA. That's what they call a God shot, where it's like these things happen and they just feel too coincidental, I guess, or serendipitous, you know, they just call it a God shot. I think it's kind of cool because I was freaking out that I wouldn't be able to stay sober. And then one of these girls is in the program and was walking to a meeting and like really held me accountable that whole time. And it was the coolest thing ever. And the movie was great. It's called The Longest Week if you want to look it up on Netflix. So I guess the moral of the story is talk to strangers because you never know what's going to happen. All I did was talk to a stranger and I got 2 incredible roles. Are you kidding? Or maybe the moral of the story is lose your keys. Just step outside your house with no keys. And then you're forced to connect with your community and get to know people around you. It's kind of awesome. I think that's why I like the 12-step program because everyone's so f***ing isolated now. No one talks to anyone. And then you go to support group meetings and everyone's talking to each other and connecting, all different walks of life. It's incredible. Well, guys, I think that's a wrap. I'm trying to keep these episodes short because I know everyone's attention span is f***ed. But if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe and follow so you don't miss an episode every single Wednesday. And if you want to enjoy these episodes live, go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Laura Clary. Patreon helps keep us going, helps us to continue to be able to produce this show every single week. And if you want to join and be a part of the show, please join patreon.com/Laura Clary. Also, side note, I've decided to not do a book club this month, but instead do a topic-based Zoom. So we're going to have our meeting as we do at the end of every month, but there's going to be no book, just a topic, because I personally am so insanely busy. There's no way I could finish a book. And I feel like a lot of you ladies are too. So I think we should vote on what we want the topic-led discussion to be and do that and have so much fun chatting. Okay. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining. Y'all are amazing. I'm going to go eat more food. Obviously. All right. Until next time. Bye.